this guy right here, that nice big guy right there, that's who I became in 2 years. So between about 21, 22 years old, I gained over 100 pounds. I became extremely depressed. I got out of the military, and I started working for a company called Ecolab, where you go around and you spray for cockroaches. And that's what I did. From 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, I drove a truck around to, Cracker Barrel, all these different places, and I sprayed for cockroaches. And every night on my drive home, or every morning on my drive home, I would stop by 7-Eleven, grab a box of donuts, mini donuts, and I had a nice big large chocolate milkshake because my last spot to spray down was Steak and Shake. So Steak and Shake, box of mini donuts, and I had a 45-minute commute home. On my way home, listen to the radio, chill out, get home, turn the TV on, take a shower. While I was taking a shower, I listened to the TV. And this particular day, this show came on. I don't know if it's Discovery Channel, History Channel, doesn't matter. It's a show about Navy SEALs. And those of you know about Navy SEALs, they spend a lot of damn time in the water. And my ass did not like the water. And it haunted me on repeat all the damn time. But this particular day, I decided to come out and see what these Navy SEALs were doing. They're going through training, and they were going through Hell Week. And I saw these guys carrying boats and logs, doing sugar cookies, getting their butt kicked. And the class was just going down and going down and going down in size. And it reminded me of pararescue. And I sat there and I felt this big because the program went all the way through to graduation, and there was like 18 guys sitting there in their dress whites, and this commanding officer goes up there and he's talking to them. And he said, we live in a society where mediocrity is often the standard. These men detest mediocrity. And at this time, he was speaking directly to me because I wasn't even mediocre. I was afraid. I was a coward. I lied. I did everything I could to not face who I was. So I had to start putting some purpose behind my suffering. My life was all about suffering back then, from my childhood through grade school, getting bullied, to trying to learn. It was always failure, always roadblocks. And I never put purpose behind it. This is where I changed my mind. I sat there and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go be a Navy SEAL. So I leave my house, I go talk to a recruiter. Now I'm about 297 pounds. And I walk in that place eating. And the recruiter looks at me because I called him several times. I called several recruiters. The story is so much longer than this. But I called several recruiters. Many of them laughed at me because I told them, because they say, hey, how much do you weigh? Because you have to be a certain weight to get in the military, height and weight standards. I did not meet those height and weight standards. So I walk into this guy named Steven Saljo. He looks at me. He goes, you're fat and you're black. I'm like, man, you are observant of hell. You are observant man. So he said the black part, because at the time there had only been 35 African Americans ever graduate Navy SEAL training in over 70 years. I didn't know that part, but I didn't care. So he takes me back, does my height weight, does it. He's looking at me and looking at him. He goes, man, you gotta lose like 106 pounds. I'm like, well, all right. He goes, okay, he goes back, gets all these manuals. Since I was in the Air Force, prior service time, long story short, people, I had 3 months to lose 106 pounds. So I walk out saying this is never gonna happen. So when I walk out, I go back to Ecolab, spraying for cockroaches. There's always someone talking to you in this world. Are you listening? This day I was. So I'm in the back of this restaurant, and I can't tell you the name because I signed a confidentiality agreement. So I'm in the back of this kitchen, and I'm spraying for cockroaches. And when you're spraying for cockroaches, you're looking for these spots where the cockroaches hide. I hated cockroaches, but I needed the damn job. So I knew where they hid, but I used to never do my job. So I was going there, I usually raid the kitchen, get the food, and then leave them the bill. So this particular day, here I am spraying for cockroaches, and it's called the money spot. I put my wand in this hole, and in this hole, it went through and it flushed out so many cockroaches that they were coming through the ceiling and landing on my head. And literally, as I continued spraying, rodents were just flying around the floor. This is why you sign a confidentiality agreement. So here I am spraying for cockroaches, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm down, and cockroaches are pecking me in the back of my damn head, and I had this mask on my face, I had this canister of crap, and I'm fat as hell, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is my life. This is my entire life. So I had the bright idea, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try to be the standard. I'm gonna try to become the standard. So I quit my job, and I realized what the standard was to be a Navy SEAL. I looked at that standard, and I said, wow, I can't even run a mile. And you have to run 4 in a certain time, do an obstacle course, carry heavy packs. I said, I'm gonna have to be the standard, which means whatever they say I have to do above that. So I was training this young man about 6 years ago. He worked for a financial company, his name is Joe. When he told me the standard of the company, the standard for the company was doing 40 dials, having 6 meetings a day. Being the standard sometimes means you have to do 100 dials and have 16 meetings a day. And he went on to do that, and now he pretty much owns the damn company. And that was my mindset here. When I make a decision now, I have to make the decision to become the person that everybody else follows. Not the one that meets it, but the one that people look at saying, I have to be him. So I put that mentality into it. It wasn't easy, but I went back to the recruiter 2.5 months later, and that once big basketball head I had shrunk up. He didn't even know who I was. I walk in, 191 pounds. I get accepted to the program to try to be a Navy SEAL.